guiding you through In the Know at K105. On Litchfield's Country Station 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app, using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. On Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. It remains cold. How long will it stay that way? We'll tell you about that. Also, Cooperstown getting some new members to their Hall of Fame. And we'll do that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio News Hawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
I'm tired. How about you?
Not as tired as you are. I didn't have to go to Owensboro last night, so...
Especially an unplanned trip to Owensboro.
Yeah, it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment impromptu trip. You thought you were going to be much closer to home. Good news that they maybe caught the people who were responsible for breaking into Joe Burrow's house.
That's what it sounds like, yes.
Found, like 4 different guys that I think they arrested and thought that they were involved in. So we may revisit that later on in the show. Samuel, when you go to the car wash, are you give me the works type of person, or are you just give me the simple wash and vacuum and I'm on my way? How do you choose?
I'm my father's son, so this right here is my car wash.
That's your car wash?
Yeah, my car I've owned it for 5.5 years, and I have never taken it through the car wash.
Really? Okay.
Yes, my dad, no, if one Dave Gormley found out I took my car through the car wash, even though it is my vehicle, I think I might get disowned.
Okay, blink twice really fast if you've actually taken it through the car wash, but you don't want Dave to know.
No, I have not. Okay. I have not. No, I absolutely have not. No, I'm waiting for it to warm up so I can wash it.
I was going to say, what happens between December 1st and, say, March 15th? Do you just have to tough it out, or do you use hot water, or what do you do?
We work quick.
I see. Well, it normally looks good. That's why I figured you were taking good care of it.
Yeah, no, I never threw it to car wash.
Why ask? We say good morning and welcome. She's joining us from the friendly confines of her office today. She is Grayson County Extension Ag Agent, Miss Whitney Carmen. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
We're doing very well. I am reminded, we know on a normal day that farming is not for the faint of heart. But when it's 4 degrees to start your day, and farmers, their work never ends, it doesn't stop because it's cold. It shows you how resilient they must be.
It is. It's interesting, and I've seen a lot of farmers post this morning about how they're having calves and how quickly they're jumping up and going, and so I know they're out in it, and it doesn't stop for the weather.
Poor Gertie. She just has to go out for a few seconds at a time. She has to go out, and she's an animal. She's not technically livestock, but she has to go out, and she doesn't stay out long. She comes right back in, so I can't imagine what it must be like for livestock and for the farmers that have to be out in it. They are a hardy bunch, no doubt. Dangerous cold this morning, as I mentioned. 4 degrees was our overnight low, or at least that was the temperature when I woke up, and I don't know that it dipped below that. I did later look and see where it's at 5, and now my monitor says we're up to 9. We may get to 30 today. We'll get into the upper 20s without a doubt. We'll see the temperatures below zero this morning. The wind chills, the feels-like temperatures for our region were really bad. They were like 8 to 11 degrees below zero. Not as cold tonight. We'll see some passing flurries into tomorrow, and then may get the forecast I saw last night is maybe an inch of snow on Sunday night. We'll know as we get closer to the weekend in that regard. So increasing clouds today, a high of 26, partly cloudy 19. Scattered snow showers for tomorrow, a high of 35. It will be nice to get above the freezing point. I don't know that we'll thaw out, but we'll be above the freezing point for tomorrow. But for me, the most dramatic video of the last 24 hours is watching all of our friends along the Gulf Coast posting pictures and video. When I saw the picture of Bourbon Street yesterday where 2 inches of snow, and then I later saw where somebody was ice skating like in hockey skates on Bourbon Street with a hockey stick yesterday, I thought, Wow, that's not. I've not seen the Big Easy like that before. Whitney, have you ever seen snow in the Gulf of America?
I can't say that I have. I have seen ice, but I have not seen snow. And I think that you can tell that they're not prepared for it in the least because they're using whatever they have around the house
Yeah.
to do all their fun snow activities.
Sam, I thought it was interesting. CBS was reporting this morning that in the way that when there is a hurricane goes through and we send power crews to restore their power grid, we actually dispatched snow plows and snow removal equipment to the panhandle so that because they don't own those things, they can't clear their streets. So municipalities around the Gulf Coast hired people from up in our neck of the woods to go down there and clear their snow.
They're lucky it wasn't in about 3 weeks, because maybe the biggest sporting event other than the World Cup in the world is going to be there, the Super Bowl. And that would be a mess with everything Super Bowl related if they were having to. I mean, they're probably already planning for that, but if they had the mass of people coming in for that event and it was all of this, it would be a mess down there. So they're probably thankful that it's coming now and not in 2 weeks.
More
remember-
snow in New Orleans than ever in history. Whitney, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I remember several years ago there was an ice storm in Atlanta, and they were in a dire straits because you know how the traffic is down there. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
So
it hasn't
they were
gotten any better.
singing the blues.
Without a doubt. It was touch and go for a little while locally last night when I think initially it was 5,000. I heard another number of 7,000 this morning. Customers in Grayson County that were without power and at a time of night when it's the end of the day, it's probably, people are trying to get settled in and they lose their power and they wonder, okay, how long is this going to be? It was about 10:35 last night, I think, or at least later in the evening. There was a power station on a pole at the intersection of 259 and Bloomington Road, the second intersection, the more southern intersection, closer to Anetta, close to the Olson's Mercantile. There was the culprit, and left people without power for, I think at one time 7,000 people were without power, but they was restored within, I think, about an hour or so, maybe by 11:35 last night. But if you were laying there in the cold wondering how long, you were thinking, okay, do I need to be proactive in this regard? They can't always just tell you, well, the power will be back on in 23 minutes or whatever, so you have to use your best judgment. So the emergency management did open up a warming center last night for those people who wanted to be proactive and say, I know that I need a warm place for tonight. And so that was open, but then the power was restored later.
It was weird for us because when we got back from Apollo, it was probably about 10:15, 10:20 or something, and like the Golden Arches weren't waiting for us. Like it was just complete. Like it was weird seeing the main street there completely dark, and
It was
My
like
husband-
old-time Litchfield.
yeah,
Yeah, our middle school boys went to Butler County last night, and my husband, they were driving through about that time, and he was like, it was a ghost town, it looked like. And I said, well, they've had some issues with power.
Yeah. Well, I think everything is fine as of this morning. I did notice we're on KU, and we participate because we have the smart thermostats. We participate in that energy conservation program, and so I got a notice last night that said between 7 and I think 10 this morning, they were reducing the thermostat level, I think by 5 degrees. So they were trying to preserve the amount of power that was being used at peak times of the day where everybody's trying to get ready and get out the door and get going. There's more light consumption, etc. I haven't really noticed. I don't think we've noticed much of a difference. I think it is a little bit cooler in the studio today than it is normally, but I did notice that KU says at the end of it, if you participate, we'll give you $5. So for each of your thermostats, you get $5 for being a good sport and being a little cooler. And I'm sure that a lot of the power companies do that.
I was going to say, my dad would be a great participant in that. We didn't touch the thermostat, and if we did, we were in trouble.
Oh, under lock
Had to
and
save
key,
that
huh?
dollar.
Yeah.
there was a certain radio employee I know that we couldn't touch the thermostat in the radio building. I'm not naming any names, but
It was the problem was the extremes in that building.
Yes, without
22
question.
states. Yesterday was the first full day of the Trump administration, and it was the first full day of those who were in opposition to some of his executive actions to file legal challenges. And one of the big challenges that it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in our country, because it's a constitutional issue. It is President Trump's order to block birthright citizenship. And 22 states have joined to form a legal challenge to that because they say that the 14th Amendment guarantees birthright citizenship in our nation. And we have long observed that to be true. We've long accepted that to be true. It actually was ratified. The 14th Amendment was ratified in 1868 in the aftermath of the Civil War, I think involving the case of Dred Scott and how that was considered. It was what happens if when our property become people, like happened through the Emancipation Proclamation. Are they citizens? Do they have birthright citizenship, etc.? So we just started deciding if you were born on American soil, then you are an American. There was another famous case where a young man of Japanese origin who was born to immigrant parents was considered to be a United States citizen, but then left the country. When he came back, he was denied re-entry because at that point in time, we were not allowing Japanese people into the country. So that kicked off a legal challenge to this 14th Amendment, the idea of birthright citizenship. It has only become a problem more in the last decade because of our porous borders and people trying to get to the country that it has almost turned into birthright tourism. So that people know if I can just get into the country and manage to produce a child while I'm there, the child is a citizen and they're less likely to then make me leave because I've got a reason to stay and they wouldn't separate. So this is going to get challenged legally, and I think it's probably a good thing that it does. We'll figure out where we are in the year 2025 on this. Do we want to stay with the way that we've done it in the United States to this point? Do we have to pass a constitutional amendment to change it, to repeal a portion of that amendment? I don't know. In certain countries, I think there are about 30 countries that do it the way we do, but then in some European countries, it's just the citizenship of your parent. Like if you might not even be living in that country, but if your parent is British, then you're a British, you're a royal subject as well. So it's just done differently around the country, around the globe. And it looks like we are going to try to figure that out as Americans. I did not expect Rand Paul to be leading the charge today on a bipartisan piece of legislation to repeal the TikTok ban. In introducing the bill, he said, they tell you this is about China, about security, about safety. That's a lie. He said, this is about control, about fear, about silencing you. A government that can ban an app, can ban a book. A government that can silence a platform, can silence a person. Today it's TikTok. Tomorrow it's your news. Next week it's your voice. He makes some very valid points, which I think a lot of people are saying, hey, this is free speech. We're also in a place in the year 2025, though, where is our American national security interest in relation to? And it would be another thing if we were silencing a person and saying, you have no ability to use your First Amendment rights. It just happens to be, you can't do it on TikTok. You can do it, on some other social media. You can do it via email. You can do it in the media. You can do it through standing on the courthouse steps. You can do it through. So that's another aspect of legal challenge that we are going to get into as well. Some local news headlines today. The biggest one of the last couple of hours that we don't have a story on, but I did see shared with the community. And I hate to share the news with you. It was announced this morning that Chris Tanner's family has announced that he has passed as a result of the injuries that he sustained in an accident on working on the road on the 15th of this month. And I don't know that family personally, but I have witnessed the way that the community has reached out and supported and the kind words that they have spoken about Chris and that family and what a good father and grandfather he was and willing to help people and just a member of the community. So I am sorry to have to announce that, and I'm sure there will be more information. The family has asked for privacy during their grieving process, and they certainly are owed that. A Grayson County man armed with a knife is accused of illegally entering a home and breaking out a window with a large tree branch before the female resident shot at him and a dog attacked him. Grayson County deputies Cast and Baker, along with the LPD officer Ritter, responded to a burglary Saturday night at 10 in the 5600 block of Millerstown Road. Originally, law enforcement was told a man had been shot, but the investigation showed that 25-year-old Elliot Hazelwood of Big Clifty had tried to force entry into the home armed with a knife. At some point during the burglary, the female shot at Hazelwood. He was also bitten by a dog. The knife was found in a hallway inside the residence. When police arrived, Hazelwood was found lying in a porch area across the street from the home he's accused of breaking into. He was arrested, charged, etc. Let's see, what else to share with you? Well, Sam mentioned earlier he made an impromptu trip to Owensboro last night, but an exciting game and a good outcome for Grayson County.
Yeah, Cougars won in overtime, 64-59. It was a rock fight, I think is probably the word to describe it, and it was a gutsy performance for Grayson County. They hit really clutch free throws down the stretch to force it into overtime. I had a chance to win at the end of regulation, and then pulled away late in overtime with a big win against an Apollo team that is drastically improved over these past couple of seasons. And I mean, like Travis Johnson said, anytime you go to the 9th District and win on their home floor, that's a good win. And I mean, that's as tough to play as it's going to be. And so he's pretty happy before a big one on Friday night.
Anytime you get a win in the house that Rex built, it's a good, definitely a good night.
They've done a lot of, for one, Apollo needs to. They have now spread out the parking lot. Used to be right up by the gym, and now it is. I think it's 3 miles away. At least that's what it felt like when it was 4 degrees outside and us carrying in broadcast equipment. And so we need to get a little closer parking lot or a K105 parking spot, even though we're there once every 2 years.
They save all of the good parking for the home team.
Probably.
That's right.
Yeah, it was brutally cold.
Did we learn why the Lady Cougar and LaRue County game fell apart?
I heard nothing that was confirmed by anything, and I was telling something. It honestly got to the point where I not that I didn't care, but it got to the point where I didn't have the time to figure it out because I had to do all of my work that I typically do in 24 hours in 3 hours. If
Yeah,
that.
the prep still has to be done.
Yeah,
Whether
graphics and everything that needs to be made, social media and so on.
The Louisville Cardinals made it 9 in a row. They got a big win over SMU last night, so it's their first win as a ranked team in quite some time, so congratulations to them. Mark Pope and his Kentucky Wildcats, of course, had the night off, and they're off tonight as well. Don't play again until Saturday. But I still marvel at this idea of, Mark Pope and his staff are the money ball of college basketball, and they have been able to go back and identify foul trouble as their struggles in SEC play and a disparity in free throw shots. He said they've gone back through all of the film and identified and categorized all the fouls that they've committed and then come up with a plan to learn from that and how to do differently, because they know the rest of this SEC schedule is not going to be any different. It's going to be as rough and tumble as it has been. He didn't want to go into it with great detail because he knew that Vanderbilt was listening. They don't need to be telegraphed the playbook. And it's also going to be basketball week, and the city of Lexington will celebrate Lexington Basketball Week as a part of their 250th anniversary. The week culminates with a trip with receiving one Arkansas Razorback team to Rupp Arena on that Saturday the 1st. So I don't think it's just coincidental that they're having basketball week in Lexington next week when Suey Pig rolls in next Saturday afternoon.
I'll be there. Looking forward to it.
I'm not going, but I will definitely be watching, and I'm kind of anticipating it, so I'm excited. But I do think that it's interesting. You talk about Pope being sort of a schematic, statistic person, and you can tell even when he's coaching, and maybe it's just because I've really started paying attention to it, but he is constantly looking at his statisticians and asking questions, and it's like he sees something and then he turns around and he asks, and before timeout or at timeouts he's like, okay, what do we got here? So I do think that is a welcomed change in our organization.
What? Analytics in basketball? Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have
That's
thunk
interesting.
it?
I
Yeah.
keep thinking that I'm gonna look at the Kentucky bench, like Mark Pope's gonna look over his shoulder and look at the bench, and I'm gonna see Jonah Hill sitting there. with like a clipboard, and Jonah Hill's going to give him a stat or whatever.
Numbers don't lie.
No, they do not. And speaking of numbers, Ichiro, CeCe Sabathia, and Billy Wagner all put up good enough numbers to get into the Cooperstown Hall of Fame. Congratulations to them. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. Hang around here on In the Know.
That's what I feel now. That's why the song exactly what it is.
Your health care starts with Owensboro Health Primary Care in Big Clifty. Family medicine physician Dr. Kiersey Kuiper was trained by the University of Louisville in Owensboro and cares for patients 16 years and older. She's here to help when you want to stay healthy, when you're not feeling well, and when you need help managing a chronic condition. Learn more and schedule your appointment online at owensborohealth.org/BigClifty.
Successful small business owners know that having an ally in decoding the data of your business performance is vital. A trusted source that can interpret financial reports, advise on tax code, and assess overall performance can be the difference between sleepless nights and peace of mind. The certified public accounting firm of Buckles, Travis & Hart is your ally in making sure your business is performing at optimum level. Call or contact today to find out how Buckles, Travis & Hart can help fine-tune your business to create peak performance. 270-259-5604. GreasonCPAs.com.
Every child deserves to feel safe, heard, and loved. Right now, there are children in our community facing tough times, and they need someone to stand by their side. That someone could be you.
My name is Misty, and I'm the 4-H Extension Agent from LaRue County, and I'm a proud CASA volunteer.
My name is Debbie Childress, and I'm the Executive Director of the Grayson County Alliance, and I'm a proud CASA volunteer.
My name is Kitty Smith. I am a proud CASA volunteer from Meade County. You can be a CASA too.
It only takes a few hours a month to make a lasting impact. Your voice can help a child find hope and stability during the most difficult moments. Visit CASAHeartland.org or call us today to learn more. Help us build brighter futures, one child at a time.
Attention propane customers, has your existing provider been hard to reach? Have you had questions that haven't been answered or experienced long wait times or been asked to reply and send emails for customer support? Don't waste any more of your time. Southern States Co-op in Bowling Green will take your call. They will even swap out your existing tank to theirs at no charge. Southern States Bowling Green Co-op is ready to serve all your propane needs in Bowling Green and surrounding counties, because empty is never an option.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start March 17th. Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, College for the Real World.
Sam Altman is going to Washington, D.C. to brief government officials on artificial intelligence super agents. The OpenAI CEO says his company has developed AI agents that are capable of solving PhD-level tasks with expert precision. Altman is due in the nation's capital January the 30th. President Trump has signed an executive order aimed at tackling the TikTok ban. In his first time back in the Oval Office, Trump signed the order that he says will allow him to either sell it or close it.
I may not do the deal, or I may do the deal. TikTok is worthless if I don't approve it. It has to close. I learned that from the people that own it.
He said the app may be worth $1 trillion if he gets the deal done. And after halting service over the weekend, TikTok is back, but still unavailable in the Google and Apple app stores. The two tech giants removed the app after TikTok went dark due to concerns the social media platform's ties to China could pose a national security threat. Tech Report, I'm Mark Mayfield.
This segment of In the Know is brought to you by Litchfield Funeral Home, providing Grayson County with compassionate, professional funeral, cremation, and pre-need services. Litchfield Funeral Home, celebrating life, one family at a time. Call 259-4566 or visit litchfieldfh.com. Today is Celebration of Life Day. It is also Hot Sauce Day. and it is Southern Food Day. So you can find some good Southern food, throw some hot sauce on there. Southern foods, we think of it typically, I think, as southeastern foods. But, Texas is also the South. You got New Mexico, Southwest. You get that cuisine. So it's got quite a bit of range. But I think when I think of Southern food, I think of like fried chicken. I think of
Biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy, without a doubt. Barbecue. But, barbecue is a Kansas City thing, too. And I don't think of Kansas City as being the South.
Well, and it depends on who you talk to, who has the best. And so most of the people will argue that the best comes from the South. Your Texas, your North Carolina, your Southern types. But I like them all.
The Texans argue that if you need sauce, you did it incorrectly.
I agree.
Then you get other people that if you don't have sauce, then it's not barbecue because that's what it's called, is barbecue sauce. I will tell you, I'm indiscriminate about barbecue. I like the Texas kind. I like the Kansas City kind. I like the Memphis kind. I like the St. Louis kind. I like the Carolina kind. I like all the barbecue.
What about the Owensboro kind?
I was going to say, can't take out our friends.
For me, Owensboro barbecue is a blend of all of the barbecues because they do their barbecue festival. And people bring in different types. So I don't like mutton.
Okay, I'm out on mutton too.
Yeah, I don't care for the mutton. But on all the different styles, I am fine. And I think that's what Owensboro barbecue has sort of become, is a sprinkling of all of the aforementioned barbecues because they have the festival and it says, well, we want to showcase it all. So, nonetheless. Told you what today is. It's not too many days. I guess it's 3 weeks away now from Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is posed, are parents doing too much for Valentine's Day? We have had a tendency to, on a lot of these more minor holidays, is to go over the top on some of them and create them to be bigger deals than they are. Valentine's Day has always been a little bit tricky because it's, a holiday to celebrate love, and you love your children, but it's a different type of love. They're not really your Valentine, but you don't want them to feel left out. So, Whitney, how do you approach it as a mom?
Well, I'm struggling just to get birthdays in at this point, much less Valentine's Day. But I think most of the time I will give them a little card and try to get them a candy or two of theirs that they like, or those little chocolate heart things. But really, we don't go all out on Valentine's Day. And I mean, that's just because that's kind of the way we did it. And it's another one of those in the holidays in between everything else going on. And so, not that I don't appreciate it, but it's just not a huge thing that we celebrate, because I love my kids all the time and every day, and I tell them that every day, so I don't have to use Valentine's Day as a special time to tell them that.
That's right, and I think that's the same way that I've approached it when it comes to marriages. Marriages really should be celebrated the whole year. You should be celebrating your Valentine not just on one day of the year and not just a season, but throughout. And if you're limiting it to one day, you're probably doing it incorrectly, or you're in a not very good one.
Well, and my husband will tell you that he and I got engaged on the 22nd of February, and he wanted to stay off of Valentine's Day because of the whole thing.
Yeah,
he couldn't wait until he wanted to. He just waited until the 22nd after Valentine's Day.
Well, there are things. So there's some suggestions here on how do you celebrate Valentine's Day with your kids. You could bake something together. You could have a Valentine's Day themed movie night, maybe family movie night, something like that. You could get crafty if that's your thing. But then also it says take them on a date. And I do think it's important that in the same way that you would hope that your young men learn things about how to be helpful and productive in the home, and that there's not woman's work and man's work, it's just work that you need to work together to do. If you're trying to create a good husband for someone, a good man for someone in the future, I do think showing them how to go on a proper date is important. I think learning how to be polite, learning, opening doors, closing doors, just being polite and being chivalrous and being a good young man. And I think that's a good way that you can do it, but maybe you don't have to wait until Valentine's Day to do that.
I don't think you do. And I actually I've started since I've got a teenager now, and I'm thinking, okay, what would his daughter-in-law want out of him? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to think of it in terms of, okay, I don't want to raise a son who would, if it were me and my husband, I would be mad at his mother if she didn't, which she raised a wonderful man. I'm not saying that Cindy did a great job, but it was one of those things that's what you have to think about, and it's not just Valentine's Day.
I think I think my mother gets a whole lot of credit too, so that's good. Speaking of good raising, there is here is a sign that your parents did a good job raising you. That's if you avoid these rude behaviors.
Uh-oh.
So if you avoid these, that means you probably had good raising or managed to get lucky somehow. One, talking over people. That's a rude behavior. Using your phone during in-person conversation. Okay, there's a time for phone, there's a time for in-person conversation. The two of them they rarely meet.
I try to not do that, especially if I'm checking out at the stores. I see a lot of that, and that is one of those things I try very hard not to do.
Do you try not to use your phone checking out?
Yeah, like, be on the phone talking, or, if you're checking out, you're engaging with the person at the checkout.
Absolutely. I won't have a phone call if I'm at the checkout if it can be avoided. I certainly won't start one knowing that I'm about to do
You'll actually
that.
self-checkout. No, see, that's why you do self-checkout, and then you don't have to.
Yeah, I do self-checkout too.
I'm trying to think the last time I actually checked out with somebody. I don't even know.
What I was afraid that Whitney was saying was when you're in the queue, like when you're, as the Northerners say, when you're online. We call it in line, or at least I do. Say we're waiting in line for something. Other people say when you're online, that's the best time to use the phone, because otherwise, as far as texting, scrolling, getting caught up, checking email, etc. Because otherwise, I'm staring a hole in the back or the front of someone going, "Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up." So the phone is my pacifier for patiently waiting.
What did we do when we didn't have phones?
We struck up conversation with the people next to us.
Well, and I still find myself, and once again, we had a situation this weekend where we were waiting in line for something, and someone struck up a conversation with us, and we kind of laughed because we're like, what makes us so, attractive? But I think it's because we weren't really on our phones. We were just kind of chit-chatting ourselves, and so maybe that's what it was. But
you may wear one of those signs that Christy Buckles wears. She wears one, and just everybody's got to talk to her.
Kyle Carmen does too. So
spreading gossip, that's rude behavior if you are spreading gossip. Criticizing people or being overly critical. Being chronically late is considered rude behavior. Judging others for their choices. We got into this thing the other day at Sunday school. I kind of had the thought of, the idea is hate the sin, love the sinner. But when you do too much of that, when you bite your tongue too much, you run the risk of acting as if you condone bad behavior. You say, well, I don't want to be judgmental of others, and it's not our place to judge as far as eternal judgment of someone. But I do think if somebody's exhibiting bad behavior, you certainly should not celebrate it and say, well, good job on that. So I don't know if I can go with you completely on not judging others for their choices.
Well, there's a time, I think, to be aware of what's going on. I mean, I think about, like, kids and the things that, I deal with. I've seen some situations lately where it's like kids are acting silly, and I'm like, you think you want to do that? You want to try that again?
What if it may be? What if it may be up to us? What if we may be the person that they're relying upon or looking to learn, the proper way to do something? So yeah, I think you have to be aware. Canceling plans at the last minute is rude behavior. Not cleaning up after yourself is rude behavior, and cutting in line. Oh, I just can't stand line cutters. That bothers me so much.
The not cleaning up thing after yourself, that's a big one. Especially when we go to games. Like, in fact, like one of our crew members, I'm not going to name names, like had left a empty like bottle of water like sitting at our table. I said, no. I said, we can take that to the trash can. I said, we leave it the way we found it. And the same thing is we stopped. I had to fill up gas last night, and they went into the convenience store to get to spend all of the money that they had made that night. And then I said, listen, you can have that in the car, but if I find one bag of chips, you're eliminated.
Listen, I'm the same way, and I'm sort of, maybe my family probably thinks I'm a little OCD as far as cleanup is concerned, but I think that you're setting I don't know, I keep thinking about when my grandmother would say, well, cleanliness is next to godliness, and I don't know why, but that has stuck with me, and so I'm like, just clean up after yourself. I know, and my kids are not great at it, so I will be the first person to say, but like, where they've all been, because it's like they leave a little trail. I'm like, guys.
Do they know the song Clean Up, everybody do your share? They just don't sing it enough?
Most of the time they're just in a hurry is what it is.
Yeah, that happens. Happens to the best of us. But we got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. Today's Did You Know coming right up. You're on In the Know.
All-new Caneyville Crushed Stone is the choice for your construction needs. Perfectly crafted for those who demand quality. Just one call will convince you. New this year is Rip Wrap and crushed stone-based mix with your choice of 3s and 5s. We deliver quality, and that's becoming our hallmark. Contractors' dense grade is $10 a ton while supplies last. Caneyville Crushed Stone with new ownership and the new standard of materials. Highway 79 North in Caneyville. A delivery to your location is one call away at 270-879-0222.
The Grayson County Health Department reminds you of the importance to get vaccinated. It's important not only to protect yourself, but your friends, family, and co-workers. The Grayson County Health Department is committed to keeping our community safe. Walk-in clinics offer both the COVID-19 and flu vaccines, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11 and 1 to 3. Visit 124 East White Oak Street or myhealthdepartment.org. Grayson County Health Department. Together, we are better.
Safe drivers see clearly. That's why starting January 1st, 2025, a new Kentucky law requires vision screening for anyone renewing a driver's license.
Clearly, the focus is on safer roadways.
Simply bring a completed vision screening form from your vision specialist to any driver licensing regional office, or get free vision screening at the time of renewal.
To view the details, visit drive.ky.gov.
I see what you did there.
A message from Team Kentucky and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
K105 weather from the Wave Storm Tracking Team is brought to you by Smith Overhead Door, SOHD.info.
Twin Lakes weather.
Hope you're staying warm in your car as you venture out on this very frigid Wednesday setup. Extreme cold weather advisory continues for all the area through the morning hours. Now, we'll have some sun to start things off, but clouds do increase, even a few snow flurries possible later today. No travel issues with that. High temperature right around 25 degrees, back into the upper teens instead of single digits tonight. The Wave Storm Tracking Team, I'm Brian Good.
Today's Did You Know is brought to you by Caneyville Crushed Stone. New in 2025, Rip Rap is available, and Crushed Stone Base Mix with your choice of 3s and 5s. They deliver quality, and that's becoming their hallmark. Contractors dense grade $10 a ton while supplies last. Deliveries just a call away. Their customer service team available Monday through Friday. Deliveries available Monday through Saturday. 879-0222, Haneyville Crushed Stone, where they ask, did you know? Our thumbs up signal, the origins of that goes back to ancient Rome, when that's how the crowd, the spectators, decided when they wanted the losing gladiator to be put to death. That's where our thumbs up sign comes from. And that's kind of ominous when you think about how we use it today. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, 2 thumbs up.
That's right. Well, and you think it's thumbs up, thumbs down. I mean, if you've seen the Gladiator movies, you probably know, but
I was shocked to find out last night that Gladiator 2 is already on Prime Video. If you've got Amazon Prime Video, you can watch Gladiator 2. It came out the same weekend that Wicked did. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Wicked has been out for weeks also. But it's not, you got to pay to watch Wicked, but Gladiator just streaming if you've got a Prime Video subscription. So I was a little bit
I think this will be the new wave. I think you're going to see them go a lot quicker to streaming and so on, and get you the opportunity to purchase it, because a lot of people don't want to go to the theater anymore.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and they're still spending the same amount of money to create these, so they've got to find the people. They've got to get in front of people's eyes, no matter where they are, and then to try and monetize in some way. The new Razzie Awards are out. I think the Oscar nominations are getting announced this morning. They may already be out, but I've not seen them. But the Razzie Award nominations came out for the worst movies of the year. Worst Picture, Borderlands, Joker, Folly Adu, Madam Web, Megalopolis, and Reagan. I watched Reagan on Friday. If you like Reagan, you probably like the movie. It really made me want to go to Simi Valley and go to his library.
Did they say that the Joker?
Yeah, Joker, Folly Adu is nominated as Worst Picture of the year. Does it win
that was
down?
2 thumbs down, honestly. It was awful. But that's just my personal opinion.
Worst actor, Jack Black from Dear Santa, Zachary Levi from Harold and the Purple Crayon, Joaquin Phoenix from Joker, Dennis Quaid from Reagan, and Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted. I thought Seinfeld was good. I think Unfrosted is a good movie. I do think that Dennis Quaid was overacted a little bit. He was a little too accentuated some of the oddities of Reagan a little bit in a way that if he had dialed it back just 5% might have been spot on. That's the only thing that I could probably be critical about as far as his work. But worst actress, Cate Blanchett from Borderlands, Lady Gaga from Joker, Bryce Dallas Howard from Argyle, Dakota Johnson from Madam Web, and Jennifer Lopez from Atlas. Worst prequel, The Crow, Joker, Kraven the Hunter, Mufasa, Rebel Moon 2. Mufasa getting some shade thrown in there. Netflix is working really hard to try and get you to watch the Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz movie Back in Action, and 46.8 million views have happened in the first 3 days on Netflix. I'm sure we will get around to that at some point. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 releases on digital since it came out late in December. It's been a big, huge box office hit, and now it's available in homes as well. Then reading where Ryan Gosling is in talks to lead the Star Wars movie. The same director who directed Deadpool and Wolverine is apparently lined up to do something in the Star Wars universe coming up, and maybe Ryan Gosling might be jumping over there to play a Star Wars character.
Will it be as not corny, that's not the word. Will it be like Deadpool?
It better not be.
I was going to say, because I don't see how you can do that. I mean, you can't do that without Ryan Reynolds.
No, you cannot, without a doubt. But I think Gosling can play. I think he can fit into the Star Wars universe somewhere, but it clearly will be for a new character. They've identified most of the known characters already, so it'll be something new in the space, I presume. We got to get to a break. When we come back, We're going to go formal Would You Rather. Something big happened over the holidays, and I'm going to share it with you. We'll do MD's Point to Ponder, Chart Toppers, Pearl of Wisdom, and more coming up here on In the Know.
Some people strive for excellence, but for others, excellence isn't good enough. They want perfection. As noble as that goal sounds, it's actually destructive. Hi, this is Jim Daly with Focus on the Family. Perfectionists look great on the outside. Take Katie. She appeared confident, worked harder than everyone around her, and excelled at most things she tried. But underneath that polished exterior was a fragile self-image. You see, the quest for perfection isn't a strength, it's a weakness. Deep inside, most perfectionists believe they're failures. They try to prove they're not by working to succeed at everything they do. The thinking runs like this: as long as I do everything perfectly, I can prove I'm worth something. Of course, sooner or later, they fail, which drives them even further into their feelings of unworthiness. With such backward logic, you'd think they'd understand that being flawless simply isn't possible and give themselves a break. But instead, they tell themselves the problem is that I wasn't perfect enough. I've got to buckle down and try even harder. And the destructive cycle starts all over again. Striving for excellence can be healthy, but perfectionism will grind you down. It forces you to pursue goals that are impossible to achieve, and that's no way to live. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
Hey parents, Parent here. Not to sound old, but if I had $1 for every time someone told me how to parent, well, let's just say I wouldn't need to read this ad to you today. I'd be sitting on the beach somewhere with my feet up. Truth is, I don't trust everyone to tell me stuff. And I don't have time for that 500-page book either. But I do have time for Focus on the Family's weekly age and stage emails that have tips for intentionally raising my son at his age right now. It's super easy. Go to mykidsage.com, put in your kid's age, and get parenting advice you can trust.
I'm going to let you in on a little wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile have convinced you need unlimited data. Fact is, most people don't. Pure Talk only charges $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data plus hotspot. Stop overpaying for wireless. Dial pound 250 and say spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
When buying or selling a home, you want experience, trust, and personal touch. But they say you can only pick two. Well, with Gina Lastly at Tom Baxter Real Estate, you get all three. With a decade of expertise as a broker, Gina's attention to detail and passion for real estate make her a trusted friend and professional. She goes above and beyond to ensure your real estate journey is smooth and successful.
I'm Gina Leslie. Put my passion for real estate to work for you. Call me now at 217-721-0034.
Discover the difference at TomBaxterRealEstate.com.
Few things are more important for safe driving than good eyesight. That's why starting January 1st, 2025, a new Kentucky law requires vision screening for anyone renewing a driver's license. Simply bring your completed vision form from your vision specialist to any driver licensing regional office, or get free vision screening at the time of renewal. For more details, go to drive.ky.gov.
A message from Team Kentucky and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
MB's Point to Ponder for today. Quite frequently on Wednesdays, we play Would You Rather. And over the holidays, Beej gave me a Christmas gift that I have today I'm going to share with you. It's an actual Would You Rather book. So quite frequently when Whitney is here, we play Would You Rather. So the way this is going to work is this Would You Rather book, it is grouped by categories. So Whitney, you being our guest, I'm going to allow you to choose from 8 different categories, and we'll cover that category today, and then we'll cover the other categories some other day. You can choose from super science, nifty nature, essential entertainment, genius geography, serious sports, hilarious history, astonishing arts, or fabulous fantasy? Which of those would you like to choose?
Let's go with the science, the first one.
Science, super science. Good. I don't
Super
have to turn
science.
don't have to turn very far in the book for this. So we'll see how this goes. We'll play along. Would you rather spend a year working in a top secret science lab or on the International Space Station?
The first one.
The International Space Station.
Okay, we've got one of each. Good. Would you rather dissect a scorpion or a tarantula?
Oh, a tarantula.
Neither.
Sam taking a polite pass.
I mean, I guess the
you rather-
scorpion, but I got
If you had
no
to.
interest. Yeah.
Would you rather invent a spaceship that could travel to Mars? Guess that'd make you Elon Musk. Or device that rids the air of pollutants? You want
A device that
rid
rid-
to Mars?
A device that rids pollution.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm happy on Earth. Thanks.
Would you rather discover the bones of the world's first human or the world's oldest living reptile?
Probably, I don't know. That's a tough one. Probably the human.
I have a huge amount of apathy of that one. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I was gonna
What
say
does
I
it matter?
really could not care less on that one.
Would you rather create an app that locates missing pets or predicts the winning lottery winners?
I mean,
Well, the pets, because if everybody wins the lottery, then it's not fun.
That's true. Yeah,
Then there's
because
no
if
money.
everybody has the same amount of money, then it's all the same. you
So
know?
is this saying that only I can predict the winner? Because in that case, then I'm just gonna wait until the jackpot gets really big. I'm gonna hit it, then you'll never hear from me again.
I guess how you use it is up to you, because it just says, would you rather create an app that locates missing pets or an app that predicts the winning lottery number?
The thing is if I hit the jackpot majorly, then I can create that app with the money I make.
That's true. But think about it this way. If you can predict the winning lottery numbers, with the app that finds missing pets, you would make a lot of people happy because they would find their pets and they would say, oh, Sam, you're so great.
Or I could make
But
myself
imagine-
happy.
But imagine if, I would say it's not a one-off thing. If you can know the winning lottery numbers, you can choose the lottery winner each week, and you would then make lots of people happy that way.
Or you could win the lottery yourself and then have the money to create as many apps as you want to.
See, that's my philosophy.
You could do that too.
Surely, eventually,
Spread the wealth.
SpaceX is going to have their own lottery, just like win Elon's money. Then you could have as much money as him.
Right.
And then you could do about anything you want. And then the last one, would you rather chase a tornado in a car?
Option B.
Or,
I was going to say, what's the second option?
I bet you're not, Sam. I think you need to be careful. Are you going to stand on B?
Well, now I'm a little worried, but go for it.
Or stand on top of a skyscraper during a lightning storm?
Well, now you found the one thing like that.
First of all, I'm scared of heights.
Yeah, I am too. I don't like heights.
I don't. It's weird. I can fly. And I have an affinity for flying. I just do not.
Can I just win the
'cause I'm out
lottery
of
again?
control. Yeah. But I would rather be in a car in a tornado. I've actually done that. Don't enjoy it, but anyway.
Yeah, I did it. And I don't mind heights, but I don't want to be on top of a skyscraper in a lightning
I
storm.
mean, Glenn Powell survived, right? That's all that
Oh,
matters,
sure.
right?
That's right.
I mean, there's a lot of people that survive lightning strikes. It's just, I don't think I want to be one of those.
Shifting gears on ABC tonight, Celebrity Jeopardy is on ABC, on NBC, Chicago Med, Expedition X on Discovery. It's the season 9 premiere of that. Let's see if there's anything else. Nope, that's it for today. Today's highlight in history, this date in 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court issued its Roe v. Wade decision. Of course, that got overruled in 2022. Steve Perry is 76 today. Teddy Gentry of Alabama is 73. Linda Blair is 66. DJ Jazzy Jeff is 60. Diane Lane is 60. Guy Fieri is 57. Balthazar Getty is 50 today. Rapper Logic is 35. And Sammy Gale, who played on Blue Bloods, is 29 today. Gone but not forgotten, Sir Francis Bacon in 1561. Lord Byron in 1788. Sam Cooke in 1931. Bill Bixby in 1931. Now, if you're my age, you know him as he played David Banner, who That's who turned into the Incredible Hulk on the Incredible Hulk. But if you're older than me, you also remember that Bill Bixby was in My Favorite Martian. He was in The Courtship of Eddie's Father, so he's in other stuff as too. But I know him as from the Incredible Hulk. And Michael Hutchence from NXS was born this date in 1960. Chart toppers. 1961, Ferrante and Teicher, T-E-I-C-H-E-R. This is called Exodus. I have it on good authority. Whitney can play this on the piano.
Maybe once in my life, but not now.
I walked by my keyboard the other day and said, you should sit down and play that, but I didn't.
That's a goal. I said it was a goal last year, but I really do think I'm going to try to pick it back up this year.
Maybe if it would snow more, I'm looking for things to do indoors. Might eventually get to that. 1970, the Jackson 5, #1 with I Want You Back. One of the most famous hooks of pop music. All right, let's move forward to the 1979. Of course, they've had a big week. They've had a big few months, of course. What I'm curious to know is, when they were performing Sunday night with the then president-elect, are there any original members of the Village People left? I mean, how would you know? Like, they've all got to be like replacements, like the Statler brothers. They just had a rotating cast throughout 100 years, you know. Or no, the Oak Ridge Boys. I think that's who did that.
Yeah,
they
I was
just
gonna
keep changing.
reference them.
Well, looking at the Wikipedia, it has like the list of 6 current members, and then it probably has a list of 20 past members.
Oh, yeah, you know. Eventually, you'd throw out a
Okay. Oh, wow. I'm looking here. It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the timeline. It's changed a lot.
Unbreak My Heart, Tony Braxton, #1 in 97. Don't Forget About Us, Mariah Carey in 06. Uptown Funk, Mark Ronson, Bruno Mars in 2015. Taylor Swift, Cruel Summer, #1 a year ago today. Whitney, thanks for coming. Well, thanks for being
thanks for having
here.
me.
Good to see you as always. We'll see you again hopefully next week. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. It's not easy to find happiness within yourself, but it's impossible to find it elsewhere. It's not easy to find happiness within yourself, but it is impossible to find it elsewhere. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Whitney Carmen, for Sam Gormley, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
The Twin Lakes Best Mix is WKHG, Litchfield, the Twin Lakes Best Mix.